So you want to save some rubles, but defending yourself with a knife is probably not the best option. And I do know that it is a thin line between saving at the wrong place and spending money on things that you don't need. Because, yeah, what do you realistically need? You still want to be effective in a raid, right? So today we are going to look at how to build a loadout, what is most important, and where can you save some rubles. So first off, a full loadout would be that you have something on every slot. So you have an armor, a headset, a helmet, a mask, a rig, a backpack, and a weapon. Now, I know this doesn't have to look like this. It can also look like this, depending on how far you are in the wipe. Doesn't matter. Although here the helmet is missing, but you know, you get the point of a full gear. And now it's time to break down what is most important and where can you save some rubles. Now, what's the most important thing? Can you guess it? It's the bullet. Yeah, you've probably heard that already, and that's not a surprise. But why? Well, it's quite simple. If you have a good bullet, then most of the time you don't have to rely on the rest like a good armor and helmet and so on. Let me show you what I mean with this example. So this guy here was sneaking up and... yeah, I hit him 11 times. You can see the blood on the wall. But since I was using PST, he survived that and his two buddies and him were now pushing me. Pretty damn bad. And now I have to rely on good armor because now I probably get shot. That would have not been necessary had I used a better bullet. Now you can go on the wiki and you see for every caliber the stats of every single bullet. For example, 9mm, here it is. I should have used at least AP, he would be dead. So if you use a certain gun, then check for the bullets and choose one that gets the job done. For example here, a Kedder, you're not gonna penetrate any armor with that thing. But for range, for example, use a Weapon Hunter with M61. Armor doesn't count for you. Now I know, those bullets are usually very expensive, but there are a couple of things you can do. First, put the expensive bullets in your pouch and have only 1-2 magazines reserved. You can also, as always, split the ammunition, so put the valuable ammunition on top so that it penetrates the armor to then shred the rest with cheaper bullets. And lastly, have one magazine with you for scavs, and there you can use whatever cheap ammo. Now when you see a scav in raid, press R and your mouse wheel to choose this spare magazine. Kill the scav with this now with the cheaper bullets, then reload. But you have to remember one cheap bullet is in the chamber now, so press Ctrl R to get rid of that bullet. This way scavs are very cheap. So now that you have a gun and your bullet, what's the next most important thing? In my opinion, it's the headset. Why? Same reason again. If we can hear our opponent before he realizes where we are, we don't need any protection. For example, this guy, we hear metal, we know he's in the container. There you go, free kill, we were not in danger at all. So the same concept applies here. If we use this gadget in the right way, we don't need to rely on protection, or at least not as often. I mean, you will get caught by surprise from time to time, that's just the way it is. There are many different headsets and they're really down to personal preference, except for the GSSH. This one is arguably pretty bad, but it's the only one without a sound pack currently. But with the other ones, it's really down to personal preference, depending on if you want a more bassy headphone like the Sordin, or you want more on the high tones like a Comtac. So try them out and see what fits you. Alright, so now we have a gun, bullets and a headphone to hear the enemy. And by the way, if you're interested in the PP build that I'm currently holding in my hands, link in the info box up top or in the description. Now, what's with the other things? Armor, rigs, helmet, backpack. Let's start with armor rigs or rigs in general. Why do you even need a rig? Of course, if you have magazines, you need a rig. Saleva can be replaced by EFAC. And for example, if you play an SKS, which can be loaded from your pockets, you don't need a rig. If you play an Adar with 20 or max, you don't need a rig. But if you use full-grown magazines, then yeah, you need a rig. But don't overbuy. Just buy the rig that has enough space for the things you need, because it's very unlikely that you don't find a bigger one in raid. So there you can switch your rig and you get your old one back via insurance. This way you have a stable stock of rigs and don't need to buy new ones each raid. Alright, now what about armor? Honestly, listen, armor is only here to help you survive maybe a couple of bullets more. You're not gonna tank bullets like for example in Apex Legends. Unless of course you spend $500,000 on the best armor available and then you get head eyes, so you see the point. So don't overvaluate armor. It might give you the edge in a fight, but that's all it does. Because veterans in the game use good ammo that just flies through your armor anyway, so... But I also wouldn't go in naked because scavs, well, they use shitty ammo. So yeah, and I think the best value for the least amount of money you get with level 4 armor. Now the best here is the trooper, no doubt. But it's quite expensive. And the TV rig is really cool, but don't use it. Why? Simple. If somebody kills you and let's say this is your loadout, well, the TV rig offers a lot of space. So your whole loadout fits into your own rig, which he then is gonna just put in his backpack. And there you go, no insurance return. So for budget, that leaves us with those 2 armored rigs. And here's a clear winner, that's the, I'm not gonna say the name, just the left one, okay? Because it's made out of steel. This means the repairability is way better. I mean, let's look at this example. Both were very low. Now both cost around the same to repair them, but one loses 13 points and the other just 3. That's why this rig is a clear winner. In terms of protection, they both offer around the same protection because the material influences how much hit points it has. But that's a topic for another video. So for 50,000 you get decent protection with that rig. But don't forget, they don't make you tanky. They just let you maybe tank 1-2 bullets more, that's it. And what about helmets? Now, to be honest, yes, there are situations where helmets and face shields can save your life. Like in this example, but this guy was using shitty ammo, so he violated rule number 1. In most fights, the bullets just fly through. So helmets and face shields definitely not worth the amount of money you have to spend on them. Unless of course you go in with a gear worth $500,000, then this tiny bit more of protection might be worth it. But for a normal user, no way. And lastly, backpacks. And here, yes, I would say you need a backpack always, but why use a scav or bear root? Because if somebody kills you, he's gonna just stack them or take it with him. Why not spend money on a tiny bit smaller backpack? Because you're gonna find one in raid anyway. There's so many scavs with scav backpacks. You can throw your old one away, pick the bigger one and get your old one back. Your insurance, absolutely rat approved. The same with the rig before. In theory, you have a constant stock. You don't need to buy new ones. Therefore saving a ton of rubles. So in summary, use good bullets, use the tips I showed you to not waste good bullets on scavs. The gun, just one you feel comfortable with, the bullet is way more important. Use a headset you like, choose, well, decent protection for the money. Use a small backpack that you get back way more often, and there you go. Now let's look at the whole set. So for hearing 20,000 around, for the PP 50,000, for good ammunition 50,000 again. You can see, yeah, it's pretty expensive, but it's worth the money, believe me. Face cover 2,000, armored rig 45,000 around, the backpack 5,000. We land around 172,000. I know, that sounds like a lot, so let's say that's too much for you. You want a cheaper version. First of all, let's remove the items you get back via insurance anyway. I would say you get the armored rig back also, but it's not guaranteed, so we're not going to include it for now. Well, let's say that's too much. Then take an AK, a really budget AK. Now we're at 100,000. And I mean, come on. With BT ammo, by the way, because I think BT is, it's, if you want to push the budget boundaries, it's enough, but it's not the best, just be aware. BS would be way better. But okay, let's take this loadout here. 100,000 rubles. You have to find a fuel conditioner, SSD, and you have already almost paid for the loadout. So, but okay, let's say you really want to push it. Then the loadout could look like this. So checklist, we have good bullets, BP is amazing. We have a decent gun, arguably. We have good hearing, and the rest is optional. So, but you're really pushing the budget boundaries with something like this. If a scav hits you with buckshot, you're dead. Just so you know. But if you're really low on money, this could be a loadout. Just make sure that you follow the first 3 rules. Good bullet, decent weapon, and good hearing. Because again, you have to understand that if you have a shitty gun, shitty ammo, you are at a massive disadvantage in a fight and you're probably gonna lose the fight, and then you earn way less. So you wanna have a fighting chance at least. So really make sure that you follow those rules. Good ammo, decent weapon, good hearing. And in my opinion, it's also way more fun if you know that you can fight back instead of just being afraid for the whole raid. So I hope this video gets this idea across. And that is the video. If you enjoyed it, of course, smash the thumbs up. Let me in the comment section how it went. Subscribe for more, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye bye.